yourself.
Hey everybody, it's another episode of Go Flix Yourself. My name is Ben Konowitz, and with me as always is the original Jaws to my Megalodon, Bradford Oman.
Hey, that's me. I'm
going to say you are the Iron Zierig to my Megalodon.
I think it's Iron Ziering.
Is that it?
Yeah, but
Nate Loucks.
That's fine. I'll take it. Da 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 da.
Is that the...
No, that's 90210.
Yeah,
He was
that's where
doing
Iron
90210.
Ziering was.
Oh, I thought...
I wasn't doing Adam's Family.
I know what you were doing, Chuck.
Charlie Young, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie, you're here.
The
And you're
Deep
gonna
Blue
be,
Sea.
You are going to... Yes, I'll give that to you. You could be... You know what? You are my Deep Blue Sea.
Hey,
You know, that's the movie that ruined LL Cool J's career.
Is it?
is it?
deepest, bluest? His head is like a shark's fin.
Did you know that's also the movie that started LL Cool J's career?
Is it? Is it his hand is like a shark's fin?
No, it's his hat.
His hat is like a shark's fin.
Yeah, his hat is like a shark's
Which,
fin.
if you listen to that song, you think it's his hand is like a. He says it, and you're like, he's saying hand. No,
Hey,
it's
friends.
hat.
Real quick, I got something. To
Welcome back, everybody.
I got something to say.
Yeah.
So, Charlie's one of my probably top 4 listeners of this podcast, and there's a reason why. There's been a long debate happening on this podcast, on the interwebs, on the back channels of Go Flix Yourself webs,
All over Reddit.
Don't you do it.
about whether or not
Don't you do it.
whether or not this is a podcast just for film or film and television. And Charlie called me once and said, I agree with Nate Loucks, which I remember any call that starts that way, that this is not just a film podcast, this is a television podcast as well. Because again, television series are often almost movie budget type of
Bye,
series.
everybody. Bye.
Charlie, I want you to expound upon that for our listeners a little bit.
So yeah, but I think it's going to be a long form story. I don't think it's sitcoms. We're not going to say unless it's really good sitcom.
give me some Ted Lasso.
It's already.
Yeah, it's already breaking its own rules.
No, it's not a TV podcast, boys. It's a movie podcast. I'm sorry.
Maybe it's an entertainment podcast.
It's not.
I like
No,
that.
because now we're going to start talking music.
No, I'll talk a good song. I like a good ditty.
See, he's already on board. You know what? Maybe it should be a song about robots, and it's like, you know what? I like a good robot.
I do. Have you seen some of the good robots?
Bicentennial Man.
Have you seen robots?
See? Crossover movie.
I, Robot.
So again, welcome to this film and television podcast. Go Flix Yourself.
It is a comedy movie podcast, and it always will be.
So we can't talk horror movies?
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
Stupid shit.
There's the fucking door. Guys,
It's good to be back.
It's been a couple weeks. We're back. We've all had busy personal lives.
Yeah, it's going to be a consistent schedule from now on. No more futzing about.
I've heard this.
We've said that
everybody
before,
said
but
that
we are.
so
I think
many
we do
times.
have the next bunch of weeks
I
figured
think
out.
you guys
so.
just promised to do the best that you can do.
We do.
We're doing the best that we can, and it's not great. So, Charlie, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having
We
me
wanted to
back
have
for
a heavy hitter for somebody to end the hiatus with us.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure on you. Hope you're great. So,
really make people listen, please, because
at the end of the day, we've it's been about 3-4 weeks, and that means that we've had an extra long time to develop a great sponsor. Somebody who has probably donated more money than ever before, because this is the comeback show, is what I'm calling it.
our rates did increase significantly.
So,
Yeah.
Brad, who was generous enough to sponsor today's Go Flix Yourself podcast on the airwaves?
Well, I'm glad you said that we brought in a heavy hitter by bringing Charlie back to end the hiatus, because Charlie is the one who's responsible for bringing the sponsor today. He went and got a big semi truck, picked up a big load of these snacks for us, and I'm really glad we got him here. It's a limited edition summer treat that maybe you've heard about. And but Ben, let me start by asking you.
No. You were so close.
I know. He
No.
almost got through
You
it.
were
He
so
almost got
close.
through it. He almost got
You
through
almost
it.
screwed this up.
Ben, how desperate would you be to leave Cuba if you were stuck there?
I love the Cuban people. I wouldn't want to leave.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Fair.
Mister, I've never lived through a dictatorship.
So
Go
loving
ahead.
Cubans.
I can't win. I cannot win with you people.
Well, Ben, then you're going to be very excited to enjoy this new treat. It's Lay's wavy Cuban sandwich flavored chips.
Ooh, I love a good Cuban.
I mean, I do like a good
Cubans.
Cuban.
Charlie, for the listener, explain what a Cuban sandwich is.
A Cuban sandwich is ham, bacon, pickle, and Dijon mustard.
There's a great film about a Cuban sandwich. What film is that?
Schindler's List.
Oh, come on.
Scarface.
No, it is
It's Chef.
Oh.
Jon
One of my
Favreau's
favorite Jon
It is.
Favreau films.
And they make this for a sandwich that has two things on it that I don't like very much. They make it look delicious.
What are those things?
bread and bacon. No, mustard.
It's a pickle in my mustard.
Mustard and pickles. I've been better with recently. But
I love pickles.
I
When
hate
was the last
mustard.
time you had a Cuban though?
I've never actually had a Cuban. And
They're delicious.
but it's
Yeah.
because I don't like mustard and I don't like pickles very much. I've never taken the dive.
I don't love mustard either. But on a Cuban, it is a nice feature.
Not
of the
a
sandwich.
food podcast. Not a food podcast.
Cuban sandwich chips.
Open them up. Let's see.
So let's pop these bad boys open. Let's just get it nice.
Are they a ruffle or are they?
They're wavy. They're wavy.
yeah, they're wavy.
Ruffles is a different brand, so reel it in.
You don't. Why would you piss off the sponsor?
You don't besmirch
Wow.
the sponsor by calling it from a different name.
Wow, Nate.
What are those cheese nips? No, they're Cheez-Its.
Zero. I know we've been on hiatus, but you know how the podcast works, right? You don't insult the sponsor.
Yeah. You get your movie titles right, and you get your brands
Did
correct.
you take a chip?
You got the chip.
Peanut Gallery Bailey's also going to grab a chip.
Got to get a chip. All right, everyone, give him a nice little crunch.
Not right in the mic, dude.
What do you mean?
God, what's wrong with you people?
They're pretty good. These
sorry,
are good.
everybody.
I like them. I'd eat
good.
them.
Honestly,
Actually, it does taste like a Cuban.
I can taste the pickle, and I don't mind it.
So it's. I will say if I'm really deep diving into taking this seriously, it's pickle forward. I got that first.
It is.
But then the meat comes through.
it does.
and-
It finishes like a Cuban.
Yeah.
Actually, this is probably the closest approximation to an actual.
Yep.
The product is being described.
I agreed.
Because it is pickle forward, and then it does finish.
No,
normally,
that's a solid
I
flavor.
will give you
Yeah.
that.
Brad has brought some really crappy sponsors over the years. This was a
Good thing I
Hey,
brought it
you,
then.
you be kind.
This is
Rewind.
good.
They're pretty good.
Lay's
good call, Charlie.
wavy Cuban sandwich flavored
Yeah.
with
This
other
is the
natural
first snack I've had that made me think that Willy Wonka actually could develop the Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving
meal.
meal.
Yeah.
The dinner
You know-
candy,
Yep.
yeah.
I might even like these. As you guys know, I really enjoyed the Pringles, the
Ketchup and fries, yeah.
I think I like this one better even. It's very good.
These are
They're-
really
it's
good.
very good.
yeah.
It's a more unique flavor for
yeah,
sure.
it's very good.
Guys, limited time only. Where can you pick these bad boys up, Charlie? Where'd you get them?
So if you happen to be traveling through Michigan City on Route 20,
Michigan City, Indiana.
it's it's at the intersection of 20 and 35. It's at that speedway.
But they are available all over.
No. They're only there.
They have a
Drive in.
Charlie brought a small convenience size bag, but they do have big size bags. I've seen them at Walmart because they brought back 3 flavors. This is the new one, but then they also have a buffalo chicken sandwich, and they brought back the BLT sandwich one. The BLT sandwich one is pretty good. But yeah,
And if you're like me and you like Brad's Junk, you can follow Brad's Junk on Instagram,
Yeah.
and he has other crap like this.
look at Brad's Junk on Instagram. I'm getting close to 10,000 followers.
You on
so-
Threads yet?
No, I'm not doing fucking Threads.
I'm on Threads.
I'm on
I
Threads.
like Threads.
You're my second follow.
All right. I'm on Threads.
I'm on
Hey,
Threads.
Why are you so dedicated to Twitter?
This isn't a social media podcast.
Yeah, but why do you defend Elon so much?
Yeah, it's like
fucking-
every time we bring up Elon
Yeah,
might not be the
and also,
hero
like,
of
hey,
the universe.
Hey,
and you're like,
here's a
Elon's-
secondary platform you could go to. He's like, oh, fuck that. I will never.
No, no,
Is
no.
Elon
I will
on
never.
there? Is Elon on there? If
First
he's
of
not,
all,
I'm not going.
I
First
I
Truth
joined
Social.
Hive. I joined Hive and it didn't work out. I'm on Blue Sky now. That team's going
yeah,
pretty
but
well.
who can get an invite? How did you get an invite?
I have friends in high places.
No, because I saw you literally
begging for one. I know, and that's how I got it.
Anybody got one of those blue sky invitations laying around?
No, that's literally what he did.
Yeah, that is literally what I did. And then someone I know sent me one. So now I'm on Blue Sky. If you want to
But
check it out.
do you like Blue Sky?
It's the one that seems closest to what
No,
Twitter
Threads,
is so
Threads
far.
is
but
better. Threads is better.
the bad things I've heard about Threads have really turned me off from it.
No,
so
Threads is
I'm
better.
gonna wait until they fix it.
Hey, cut all this. So anyway, Brad,
Cuban
So
sandwich
find me on
Lay's,
Threads, Nate Loucks.
Cuban sandwich Lay's.
is it at? Or is it hashtag Nate Loud?
No, it's
It's at.
Okay. Guys, just real quick, wanted to throw a shout out. We can cut this if we want, but Bradford Oman got engaged.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, let's cut that.
Whoa! What? Congrats,
Dude,
Wow.
it
It's
got
no
engaged.
longer girlfriend Brittney.
It's
My girlfriend Brittney.
how you gonna say it now?
My fiance Brittney.
Oh, it's even worse than I thought. It's even worse than I thought.
Sequel's always worse.
I'm
It is,
so
it
excited
is the
for you
second
guys.
time I've been engaged.
Say
so-
say it out. Say it out. That's not true, but also hilarious.
Yeah, it's not true.
Say my wife, Brittany.
No. We gotta
No, I
save
want to
that.
hear what.
No, you can't.
No, we
spoil-
gotta wait until
No, I want to hear it. I want to
Hey,
hear what it's going to sound like.
after October of this year. Then he can say it.
Oh yeah, they have an October 31st wedding, which honestly I
We
thought
do love Halloween.
I thought it was a baller move to be like
Yeah.
we have a date picked out and it is soon.
It is All Hallows wedding. Everybody has to come dressed up as their favorite serial killer or slasher.
They're calling it Wedd-o-ween.
Yeah, they're going as the Spartan cheerleaders, right?
Yeah.
Wedd-o-ween is also what I'm going to do after we get married.
Damn, that's good.
I don't like any of that. However, Bailey is laughing, so I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let that one go. But no, congratulations, brother. We love you. We love you so much.
We love
We're
Brittney
so
even
proud
more.
of you
Thanks.
and her, and we can't wait for you to move to Utah and leave us forever. So, anyway.
Hey, it is related to movies too because I did it up in Park City, where Sundance happens.
Yeah, they met
which
at
is where we
Sundance.
met. So there you go.
Yeah. Good for you.
There we go.
There you go.
We did.
Adult life.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Cuban
It's been a
sandwiches.
great- Cuban sandwiches, engagements, and I'm still overweight.
What happened to those chips?
Nate just wants more chips.
Hungry.
No, don't give him back to him because he's just going to keep crunching
I
into
know.
the mic.
It's like Luke Starkey with his fucking ice.
Seriously.
Luke, stop it. Quit eating the ice. Anyway, so we have, honestly, this might be a slightly longer pod. We're not sure how long we're going to go tonight, but we're going to get through some stuff. We do have some trailers to talk about, but as always,
A lot of movies.
what's the last movie you saw, which is going to be, what's the last 13 movies you saw? And I do mean it. We should keep the movies this time around because we got a lot of things to talk
I have a
about.
hard out at 37 minutes, but go ahead.
So Nate agrees. We will
Funny
not be
because
talking
I'm going to
about...
have a hard on at 37
Oh
minutes.
boy,
So.
we are not going to be talking about any TV shows whatsoever because Nate has a hard out at 37 minutes. So, Charlie, you know what? You're the guest of honor. Let's start with you. What are the last few movies you've seen last couple weeks?
All right, we'll start most recently. Today, not even realizing it was Tom Hanks' birthday, I watched Sully for the first time ever.
Well,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
It's solid.
Yep.
I liked the way they broke up what actually happened on the Hudson and then showed it all in its entirety at the end. I thought that was a cool way of telling it. It's been out long enough, and
He does. He say, yeah. It's been on spoilers are welcome. He does land the plane.
he lands the plane.
No one dies.
155 survive.
Souls.
But no, it was souls on board. It was really good. But
It's Tom Hanks being Tom Hanks.
It's Tom
right?
Hanks
Yeah.
being Tom Hanks, right? It's no different than what else he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I liked it. Before that, I watched Ted. Most of Ted does not hold up anymore.
For the first time.
I disagree. We watched that not too long
Why, is
ago.
it kind of offensive?
Actually, we watched it before the previous podcast, so we
Yeah.
were going to talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
The R word's dropped a lot.
Do they say that?
yeah.
The what?
The R word is dropped a lot.
Yeah, you know, I don't know.
But it's from a talking bear?
Does that
and
change
it's, and
anything
it's
for
in,
you?
and honestly, there's a part of me that like
Likes that word?
no, I get frustrated. I get frustrated when people get upset at characters using words like that because like it's not endorsement. Like that's how those characters talk. Like they're from Boston. There are people who still do talk like that. It doesn't mean that it's okay. Like that's part of like their abrasive personality.
And we've talked about this before, though. Like
You're supposed to feel ill about them
Yeah,
when they say
yeah,
that word.
but
right?
when they're making it funny and it's like, oh, we're laughing with them, then you're getting more people that
Yeah.
just use that word. So if it's let's say, is it an astute enough audience to realize that's a crass character that I'm not supposed to enjoy him saying
no, of
that?
course not.
But that's not going to happen that way, right?
Yeah.
So is it the responsibility of the studio and the director, the writer, to not use that in the first place because you're just encouraging bad behavior?
I mean, sure, maybe in some capacity. I think it just depends on what you're doing, you know. But like,
We talked about that with Robert Downey Jr. in blackface for Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Is that okay? And if you get the joke, he's
there's-
making fun of people that do blackface.
but there's plenty of people that don't get that joke,
Exactly.
and so you know, I don't think it's the responsibility of the studio to explain the joke to people who are too dumb to get it.
That's fair. Very fair. Also, Brad loves the R word. Anyway, no.
It's hard when it's people that you're rooting for in the movie, right?
Right.
If it was a villain that said it and
Yeah.
you don't want to emulate that person, then
Yeah.
give them that vulgarity.
that crassness.
Yeah.
But no, let's put that to the side.
It's still funny as hell.
It's a really, really
Yeah.
funny movie. I mean, there's so many funny. We were really laughing out
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like about
Yeah.
that. And Giovanni Ribisi is insane.
He's
and creepy as
so
fuck
good at
and
it.
so good in that movie.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Stand up straight when you're talking to me. Why the fuck would he say that?
such a good line.
Yeah.
All right. So, what else?
And then before that, I watched Still, the Michael J. Fox movie.
Gotcha.
Absolutely loved it, of
Sure,
course.
sure.
But even just the storytelling that they used, the way they intertwined dramatization with actual footage from his movie was just fantastic. And then before that, I watched Arnold.
That's a. I'll let it go.
You talked about it.
I know.
It's a TV show.
it's a docu-series, so
Yeah.
it's a little different.
I watched the first episode. It's pretty good.
It was great.
Yeah, I disagree with you. I don't think they portrayed him as a sad, lonely man at all.
Maybe you know what? I think we'll talk about Dial of Destiny in a little bit, but I'm maybe on a kick lately where I'm seeing these older
there
idols
might
of
be
mine
something going on
that
with
are just
you.
like
Yeah.
I'm finding them very sad.
Yeah.
You know, but no, I did find out after that he is dating somebody, and so that made me feel so much
Oh,
better.
who is he dating?
I don't actually know her name, but they were photographed out in public or whatever,
Okay. Good
which
for
made me
Arnold.
feel good because in that docuseries, he's flipping through these memory books, and his kids aren't there, and his ex-wife isn't there.
But
He's
it
got
does.
no friends.
Having seen the first episode, it does seem like that's just how the film is framed.
I
Like,
get
they're
it.
focusing on him, and like it's because
It's
it's
literally
set up.
called Arnold.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm projecting.
And it's a guy in his mid-70s talking about a life he already lived, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his life
he's-
is coming to an end.
He's
right?
dying. Yeah, he's dying.
And there were interactions with his, the one daughter, and
And the donkey.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
Which sounds crass, but
He's
it's
got
not.
2 donkeys.
Well, no, he's got a mini horse and a donkey.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, get your facts straight, Nate.
Yeah.
Anything else?
pretty
By the
much
way,
it.
his girlfriend is Heather Milligan. Just,
Good
just in
for
case
her.
anybody wanted to go to TMZ and look at that up.
That and I'm watching Silo too.
No,
Yeah,
it was
I've heard Silo is good.
Brad,
It's
back on topic, guys.
good.
Silo's a sci-fi show on Apple TV Plus. I've heard it's pretty good. Rebecca
Is it good?
Ferguson from the Mission
It's-
Impossible series
it's-
stars in it.
Yeah, it feels like
Like, what would you compare it to?
it feels like the real life universe of Wall-E with very Walking Dead style friendships and cliques and
Is it scary?
no,
Is it?
And moving on.
Does it have any humor in it? at all?
not really.
Okay.
Not really.
But is
And
it
then-
overly heavy?
No.
Okay.
Nate, what's the last movie you saw?
And then
I'm
it's
talking about
it's very Tarantino. Every episode is
Okay.
like, oh, why is that guy bleeding on the floor? Let's go back and find out why he's
Okay,
bleeding on
okay.
the floor. Yeah, it's very good.
All right. Any
Nate-
other TV shows we want to talk
Nate,
about?
what's the last movie you saw, buddy?
The last movie I saw was Indiana Jones and the something and something.
Dial of
Dial
Destiny.
of Destiny.
And I really enjoyed this film more than I thought. You two are bigger Indiana Jones fans than I am. I've seen all the
Literally and
films.
figuratively.
Yep.
But I think you have more sentimental kind of connection to the films than I do. I went in not expecting anything. Actually, the last trailer I saw, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. I actually love this film. It's one of my favorite films I've seen in the theater this year. It is done so well. Harrison Ford is great. I mean, again, I've talked about this on the show. Harrison Ford in Shrinking is so wonderful. So it's been so fun to see like Harrison Ford have such a great year. I mean, he had Shrinking that did very well. Got a lot of accolades for that. And this has been great. Sometimes with films like this where they're bringing back an old franchise, you don't know if it's going to be a money grab or not. But if we could talk about this because we talked about this slightly off the podcast. I actually really enjoyed the emotional resonance of this film. I was actually sad at parts during it.
Oh, sure.
Ben, you didn't like that part though.
Have you seen
right?
it, Charlie?
I have not.
So we'll keep it spoiler free because it just did come out. It is spoiler free to say that this movie is definitely about the consequences of living that life, right? Where
He's an old man.
He's an old man, and he's spent his whole life chasing things and putting them in museums and fighting Nazis and whatever.
And the world is starting to leave him behind.
Yep.
Sure. And the movie opens with him just being lonely and alone, and they explain why the whole time, obviously, and there's good reason for it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It does make sense. No, and again, the set pieces in this movie, I agree 100%. They feel like Indiana Jones set pieces. They feel like Indiana Jones fights. The sound effects, the score.
feels like Indiana
He
Jones.
feels
He
like Indiana
does.
Jones. They de-age him in the first part. And it's great. They did a great job with that. The whole thing is an Indiana Jones film. I was hoping that I was signing up for another Indiana Jones movie, much like I had seen previously, and they decided, and it's a good movie, but they decided, hey, what would it look like if Indiana Jones was kind of an old man that was alone and sad and lonely and really, there's not a sidekick this time that is on his side the whole time, or even for most of the movie. It's just kind of him, and he's dealing with his past, and he's dealing with the consequences of his actions over a lifetime, and it's just very sad.
And there's legitimately some kind of emotionally sad
There
parts,
is.
right?
There is.
That
More
makes
so
me
than
wanna
probably
see it
any
in a
other.
while.
No,
Honestly.
and that while that's a good movie, I guess in my brain I was sitting up for I've said this off the Bible, like, quips and whips. That's what Indiana Jones is, right? Like, let's
Yeah.
do it.
It is
And
deeper
it's
than
not-
that,
It's
though.
deeper than that,
Good.
and I wasn't ready for that, and I think that I'm going to need to see it again. But I would say it's a little long for me, but
Does
still
it feel like a love letter to him, or
not necessarily. It
Not
still
no,
feels
not
like,
no, like in a
Do you
not an
know-
overt way that you would expect.
Do you know? Are they going to do another one? Because I was ready
No,
for
this-
another one.
no,
after
this is it.
This is it.
This is a farewell swan song kind of.
They're
thing.
not gonna.
to Indiana Jones or to Harrison Ford?
To Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford's still alive.
But but they're not gonna let Phoebe Waller-Bridge or anything like do any more with the franchise or anything like that.
No, I mean, so
Well, she
there's
dies in the film, so
that's not true. Apparently, there is a Indiana Jones TV show that is in development for Disney Plus, but no one.
the young Indiana Jones, starring River Phoenix.
That they already did that.
No, is that?
That's not necessarily something that they have said what it is, and like there's no plans.
Because I'm ready to see her do more of the thing that she did in this. I really liked her.
It would be interesting, but at the same time, I don't necessarily need that. Like I'm fine. I'm fine if they finish it.
agree,
You know,
but-
if there's one thing that I'd be interested in is if they follow Short Round as an adult and he's kind of picked up Indiana Jones' torch in that way, that could be interesting. But also very simple. But no, I agree with you. I really like this movie too, and I'm actually kind of baffled by some of the negative reactions I've seen because it's been very divisive among critics. Some people like just don't like it. For me, like some people have been upset that it doesn't quite feel like a Spielberg movie or a Spielberg Indiana Jones movie. And I understand that to some degree, and it's mostly because of what Ben is saying, because James Mangold does have a tendency to tell stories about
Logan.
about sad old dads.
Logan.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say,
Hey, but Logan
for our
was
listeners that
almost
don't know,
perfect. Like he's
Spielberg
incredible.
didn't direct this, just in
Right,
case
yes.
you didn't know that.
And if,
James
if you
Mangold-
haven't seen Logan, it's the send off of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine's character.
I
and
think
it's a great movie.
I think Logan is much more brutal,
Of course,
and, and harder hitting. But I still think the adventure is strong in this. I do think that it is a tad too long. But the thing
It's
is,
2 hours and 22 minutes, by the way. Yeah, it is.
the funny thing is so you start to feel the length in the third act, but when I thought back on it, I was like, I don't know what you cut
Yeah,
though,
I agree.
because there's not really a part of the movie that's bad, or it's like, oh, you don't need that. It just feels like it needs to be shorter.
Did you? I did see somebody that say the sci-fi element of it, because there's a slightly more sci-fi element of this. I don't want to get into too much.
I don't have a problem with that.
In the third act.
Nope, I don't
because
have a problem
every
with that.
Indiana
Okay.
Jones movie
You were fine with
has some kind of
Do
mystical
you,
element,
I'm sorry, do
fantasy
you not
element.
remember where they pulled a man's beating heart out of his chest and it caught on fire?
Yeah.
Or that he drank from the cup of Christ and it healed his wounds? Like, there's always going to be
there
a
is
sci-fi.
some of that. Yeah.
Remember Crystal Skulls?
I never saw that one.
Yeah.
You're okay.
I know. That's
what I
why I
told
didn't see it.
Yeah.
But again, this is also a film to see in the theater.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes.
We
I
talk
agree
about
with that.
there are some films to see. This is when you do want it, because it is an action film. The action sequences feel like Indiana Jones.
It's like this, and
even
then like
if you're
Left
not a
Behind.
huge Indiana
Those are the
Jones
two
fan
that
like
wanna
I
see in the
am,
theater.
I'm not like these guys are far more dedicated to the franchise than I am. I had the most fun in this film that I've seen in a long time.
See, Nate, I'm there with you. I did not see any Indiana Jones until I was in my late 20s.
And even if you haven't seen an Indiana Jones, it's still a fun film.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good stuff.
What else did you see, Mr. Nate?
I saw The Flash. Not great.
Really?
Didn't love it.
You didn't love it?
Didn't love it.
Haven't seen it.
Interesting.
Charlie,
I
you
just
seen
didn't
it?
feel
I've
like
not
it
seen
came
Flash.
together well for me. Like it just didn't come together well for me as a film. I loved
You watched Shazam! Fury of the Gods twice, right?
what?
You watched Shazam! Fury
I
of the
saw
Gods
it
twice.
once. I saw it
Pretty sure you
once.
said you watched it a second time.
Maybe I did. But I
Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Not good.
I love parts of this film. I love
Yeah.
Michael Keaton. He was great. He was so much fun.
Yeah.
I actually would have preferred them to build the film around him. I don't know what it was. I just felt like some of the characters weren't fleshed out enough. I don't know why I don't resonate with DC films all that well. Honestly, I just don't. Like there's something always missing for me, and it's me. I'm not saying it's DC. It's me. I don't know what it is, but when I watch them, I just don't emotionally connect to them as well as Marvel films.
Do you agree that DC has always struggled with the fact that they haven't had the same timeline to try to develop things, so everything feels a little rushed and stilted compared to, and it's not like Marvel did anything special. They got lucky by building it off of Iron Man, and that huge success. They were able to do it, and then DC's playing catch up.
I wouldn't say they got lucky because that discredits all of the hard work that they put into doing that.
Marvel the studio got lucky by choosing Jon Favreau, by choosing, they put the pieces.
Those are deliberate decisions.
Yeah,
right?
that's not lucky. I think that it's fortunate that it worked out the way it did and trying to be successful. That's not lucky. Like you're talking about Kevin Feige.
Hold on, what I'm
bringing
trying to-
together all the pieces.
No, Kevin
required
Feige
to-
didn't start the MCU. He wasn't even involved in Iron Man.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He wasn't even the main architect of that, though.
Yes, he was.
But he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
I thought there was another guy that was in charge
No,
at first.
in fact, they just did a 15-year later thing that
Yeah,
Marvel
he
dropped.
is the one who made this happen. Like it's Kevin Feige's thing. That's why he is who he is.
I thought there was another guy that was like that.
There was a person who was like one of the heads of Marvel named Ike Perlmutter, and there's somebody else there, but they are not responsible for making the decisions that made Iron Man and MCU what it is.
To be sure, Feige was named president of the production for Marvel Studios in March of 2007. So yes, he was.
Yeah.
He's been there since really the beginning.
What I'm saying is they didn't go out and get an A-list actor, A-list director, because at that time, Downey Jr. was a risk, and so was Favreau. So if you're telling me right now that they had a sure thing and they hired the best director, they took a chance, and they paid off, so they got lucky.
That's not the same thing as being lucky, though. Like, I mean, they
took a pretty big risk,
but they also made deliberate decisions to make it do what it did.
If they were so sure it was going to work out, they would have hired somebody more famous.
Let me parse it a little bit.
No one's ever
this.
Sure.
Let me parse it a little bit because I agree with both of you a little bit. John Favreau had success before, like he had done some good things,
but he did get hired because
did a bad thing before, right? He had a film that he
got hired because he was affordable.
Yep, but they did have evidence that he can direct.
Yeah,
and he can do it at a high level.
And they had to fight to get Robert Downey Jr. in the role because no one wanted him. So that's not luck. That's someone fighting and making a decision.
But I'm saying that's not Marvel Studios wouldn't have had him, right? They didn't. It wasn't.
I don't think it was Marvel. I think it was Paramount. The studio at the time was not.
Marvel does seem to have an ability to make stars out. Like Chris Hemsworth wasn't a big deal before he became Thor. He was certainly a big deal in Australia because he did a series there or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you're right. I mean, I think though.
To my overarch here, though.
Luck, though. I don't know if is the right word.
The idea that they had the time after that then to develop this slowly. Yeah. And DC never had that time because they were always then playing catch up.
But DC also
we're not playing the game.
They kind of put that time on themselves.
Sure,
they
could have done it
at this point. They've had the time.
Let me move into I want to pause here because
hold on.
We're not having a game.
I want to talk about the Flash too because I haven't talked about it yet.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah,
because I like the Flash. I don't think it's amazing or anything. I think it's one of the better movies that DC has done.
Did you? I just didn't know it.
Part of it is I'm a sucker for time travel movies, so that did it for me.
Aren't you tired of it a little bit though?
No,
because it seems like the multiverse and time travel is just.
If it's done well, I'm not tired of it.
Okay.
And in this case, bringing Michael Keaton back as Batman does help.
He's so good.
He's fantastic. I will say the one issue I have is I feel like they don't necessarily give you enough time with Michael Keaton's Batman to really they don't really do a good job of giving a good enough reason as to why he's not Batman anymore. Like the reason is very simple, and they don't give you enough of like a moment to like care about him as a character to make his place in the movie resonate as much as it should for something so big to happen.
I didn't think they gave us enough time for Supergirl either.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. But the girl who plays her, Sasha Calle, she's great.
And so I wanted more time. Yeah. I thought, I'm not connected to this character yet, but she seems great.
Yeah. And for all the problems that he has, I can't deny that Ezra Miller is very good in the role. It sucks that he has all the issues that he has. With the movie not doing very well at the box office, we probably don't have to worry about him sticking around anymore.
It is a flop.
But the movie itself, I had a lot of fun with it. If I had one major complaint that was very distracting to me, and this has been discussed a lot, is that there are a lot of visual effects that are very questionable in it. One of the key ones is the element of how the Flash time travels and how it's visualized. It uses this like stylized animation where it looks too realistic to be fake, but it looks too fake to look realistic.
So, Uncanny Valley?
Yeah, it's very weird, but it's done intentionally, but not intentionally enough to where it's like,
Uncanny Valley. Yes.
Yeah.
Put that in there.
It's very odd. And then there's some questionable stuff because I don't know why they did this overly complicated way of putting two Ezra Millers in the same scene, because they've done this in a very simple fashion before in movies like Multiplicity and stuff like that. But what they did is to explain how they made this is they shot scenes with Ezra Miller and with a double. And they have Ezra Miller, whichever version of Ezra Miller's character had the most lines, that's the one he played in any given scene. So then what they did is they shot scenes with Ezra Miller in essentially what is like a volume, not like the volume that they use for The Mandalorian, but a thing that is basically where he's surrounded by cameras and he does the performance opposite himself in this volume. And then they take the scan of his face and put it on the double. Yeah, there's no reason for that. Because there are so many things in Multiplicity that look unbelievable for the time that they did it, and they put 4 Michael Keatons in one shot.
I was gonna say, and you can't take that technology and just like update
make it better
for 2023.
Yeah, because there are so many shots where you can tell like, oh, that's the double because his face looks weird.
All they had to do was go to Freaky Friday.
There you go.
I mean, they did as late as Back to
the
Future
Future 2.
Trap.
No. Let's do it with Freaky Friday because there's no visual effects required for that
one. You know what, Nate? Go on.
Go ahead.
No, but yeah. Anyway, The Flash, I enjoyed it. Not perfect, but I had a good time with it.
Did you guys see it or no?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I will. But it's one of the things.
You know who else hasn't seen it? Most of America.
Yeah. I will see, I want to watch
Not
that,
even
though.
in the top 10 in its 4th weekend.
Is Ezra Miller's shit responsible at all for this, or is it too big of a
No,
movie
honestly,
that he wouldn't?
yeah, it seems like film Twitter is like a bubble, and entertainment stuff. Like I think the majority of people don't even know about Ezra Miller's issues. I think it's because Ezra Miller isn't a star that people are like, I don't care.
So to that end, do you think that the Amber Heard stuff will affect Aquaman 2?
No, because again, I don't think that
It's not.
I mean, maybe because the Johnny Depp of it all, but I don't think it's going to be. No.
I always
think
wonder.
The larger problem, I think, is overall superhero fatigue.
Sure.
And I think that's going to be.
I mean, you have to do something that either A, changes the game completely.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Exactly.
I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is done very well.
It's done well, but again, it does not still
But I
reach
think
the
that's
peaks.
and I think that is more so just like the love for a franchise that had already.
And so that's not necessarily, that doesn't apply to the fatigue necessarily.
Though Ant-Man,
but there wasn't as much love for.
Ant-Man
But there wasn't as much love for Ant-Man.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, I have one more film I want to talk about because I want people to watch this. It's called Nimona on Netflix. It's a new animated film. Have you seen this yet?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's very good.
It's so great. I think people should watch it. I won't get too much into it.
Tell people what it's about.
What's it about?
So it's one of those films where the main character is essentially
There.
like a
Do you want me to read the synopsis
It's
for
like a
you, Nate?
shape-shifting person that is kind of outcasted by their community, who makes friends with a person that it's all about a person that is on the outside of a society that becomes kind of a somebody that they can't talk to or live with, who becomes inside. But go ahead, read the synopsis. It's very good.
When Ballister Boldheart, a knight in a futuristic medieval world, is framed for a crime he didn't commit, the only one who can prove his innocence is Nimona, a mischievous teen with a taste for mayhem, who also happens to be a shape-shifting creature Ballister has been trained to destroy. But with the entire kingdom out to get him, Nimona's the best, or technically the only sidekick Ballister can hope for. And as the lines between heroes, villains, and monsters start to blur, the two of them set out to wreak serious havoc. For Ballister to clear his name once and for all, and for Nimona to just wreak serious havoc.
So this is animated beautifully.
Yeah.
It is a major film budget type of, like I think they actually wanted to at one point release this in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, really well done. Voice work, really well done.
Chloe
Animated.
Grace Moretz is
Yep.
Nimona, and Riz Ahmed is Ballister.
And so if you see this on Netflix and you're thinking, oh, this just seems like, it almost actually kind of looks anime. It's not. It's just really well done.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying that it is very good, so I'm
I really
loved
loved it. Yep. So
Awesome.
those are the films I've seen.
All right.
Awesome Blossom. What have you seen, Ben?
I've seen quite a few.
What kind of movies have you seen?
Quite a few.
What movies you watch?
Well,
Pick two.
The one that that you really wanted me to talk about is it's been a long time, but I finally got around to watching Renfield.
Which
And now I got about half an hour to talk about it here.
Brad and I talked about this 3 months ago.
Charlie, you see any other movies?
No.
Have you seen Renfield?
But I will talk more Silo.
God damn it. No. Renfield is the Nicolas Cage, Nicholas Hoult vampire movie. It's fine.
Good.
And then I watched.
Could have been so much better, right?
It really could have been. I don't know why they went.
I love
crazy with the
Nicholas
action
Hoult
instead
so
of-
much.
I don't know. There's a lot to be said there, but it's whatever. You guys have already talked about it at length. But no, I went on a kind of a Netflix rampage, and I was just watching any kind of action or comedy that I haven't seen in a while. I don't know if now it's going to blur the line because I don't know if I've talked about these or not on the last show. But I watched Old School. I haven't seen that in a long time. There's a lot of that still does hold up. There's a lot of people in there that I didn't realize were in that movie.
Will Ferrell.
Did you know that Snoop Dogg is in that movie?
Oh.
Okay, how the guy that plays Howard
Wolowitz,
Wolowitz in The Big Bang Theory, that
Simon
actor,
Helberg.
he's in Old School as one of the pledges, and I recognized him, and he looks so different. It was just really funny to just see those people that you've seen in other things now, of course. Right. So yeah, no, it still holds up, still very funny.
I just watched Superbad last night. It was kind of similar.
Yep.
Like you see some of these background actors that have become
Holy shit, yeah.
bigger deals, or they had 3 lines in it, but now have become bigger lines.
Brad and I went to the theater and saw
No Hard Feelings.
No Hard
What'd you
Feelings.
think?
I really liked it.
Well, obviously, because you're not going to speak ill of your lady friend. But
I mean, to be fair, that is my second wife. But no, I was.
You're one wife and one fiance.
That's true, yeah, and they know their place.
Wow, that's getting cut.
It's been made very clear to my fiance Brittney
J-Law
that Jennifer Lawrence
is the law. J-Law is law.
Yes, there will be plenty of laying down of the law.
You're a horrible person.
Very proud of that.
So did this do anything to remove the crush from Jennifer Lawrence?
No, and honestly, if anything, it just
I was
increased
gonna
it.
say, she's very pretty.
She's a pretty girl.
I honestly, there were a few scenes in that I was like, God damn, she's just stunning.
She's just gorgeous, and
just
she's so charming. She's,
No, and
she's very
that's
charismatic.
why.
And even like because her character is not like the best person, but she's very funny in the role.
Not the best person. Her character's a terrible person.
Yeah. But she's very funny in the role, and her and the kid have great chemistry. It's very charming.
He's great.
He is great. It's not quite as raunchy as I thought it would be or could have been. But
I actually like that.
But the sweetness shines through a little more because of that.
Exactly, and they took off a few of the sharper edges that they could have had, and they could have gone for even the better joke would have been like the more shocking joke, but they didn't do that.
It's hard to do a raunchy comedy,
but because of that, though,
there's so much
felt
offense.
like kind of a throwback to this isn't as hard to watch. It's not awkward or terrible.
Yeah.
So a guy like me who doesn't love the awkward stuff, I still really love this movie.
I mean, there was, we're extremely online people. We're online a lot, and there was Twitter fodder about like how this is disgusting because Jennifer Lawrence was so much older than. It's like, okay, but
That's part of the idea.
That's part of the idea,
we just talked
right?
about this earlier.
This is raunchiness a part of the comedy. This is not like
you should be.
We
upset
can't be offended about this
at
stuff,
the character,
right?
not the fact that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to be supportive of this.
Exactly.
character.
Right. That's the whole part of the film.
We
right?
just touched on that. Who is the guy that plays like the husband of the best friend, Brad? Because I've seen him in a few things here and there, and he's very funny as a bit of comic relief. He just gets put in his place constantly by Jennifer Lawrence and by Jennifer Lawrence's best friend, who is pregnant in the movie. He's the schlubby kind of like, I tried to tell you that it was going to be a bad idea. Like, you know what, Mark, go swim in the ocean.
His name is Scott MacArthur.
He's great.
He's on Righteous Gemstones.
Yes.
He's in El Camino.
He's a great
He's very funny.
addition to
Do you know a
this.
show I love?
No,
Righteous
no,
Gemstones.
stop, Brad. Why?
I've heard Righteous Gemstones is very funny. I haven't watched it.
Oh,
yet,
it's
though.
so good. He
what
plays
was that
Scotty.
movie called, though, again?
What?
The movie we saw?
What movie?
The one we're talking about.
Oh, No Hard Feelings.
No Hard Feelings. Sorry. No Hard Feelings is very good. You should definitely search it out. It's really funny. If it's still in theaters around you, go watch it because if you watch it, then they make more of these.
Yeah, we
And they
want
don't
more
make
comedies in
these
theaters,
R-rated
yeah.
comedies do not happen anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I was very, very pleased by it. It's very funny.
Obviously, I saw Dial of Destiny. We talked about that. But then again on Netflix, right? White House Down. Still fun. Still very fun. Still like it.
That is a. If somebody had to ask me what films does Ben Konowitz love, I would be like, I bet he loves White House Down.
Honestly,
Yep.
and
I love that about you. That you love that film.
I think that Olympus Has Fallen is the better film of the two because I do like me some Jerry Butts, but I think that White House Down is fun.
Is that with Channing Tatum?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
and
Seen
Jamie
that.
Foxx.
I think you guys assigned that to me like a year ago.
It's
one
fun.
Of you,
It's a fun movie.
one of you, meaning probably Ben.
Yeah, private.
I haven't seen it, so it wasn't me.
I also watched The Italian Job for the first time in
The
forever.
original or the remake?
The one with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, I love
So the
Italian
original.
Job. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, Brad, you.
I love that film. By the way,
No,
I love it.
I haven't seen it since it came out,
I love
and
it.
I was like, oh my god, the
It's a
scene-
guilty pleasure film for me.
The scene with Seth Green where he's mimicking what Handsome Rob, what's his nuts, Megalodon, Jason Statham is saying. Oh my! Oh, you want to take your shirt off? Yeah. And what? She's taking her shirt off. It was so good. There's so much to like about that film. Edward Norton plays such a sleazebag, and he's very good in that role.
He is.
He's a great actor, of course, but it was just fun to watch. And again, watching these people that are now 25 years older. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was made in 2003.
Yeah, so it was, and they're young, so young.
Yep.
Jason Statham still no hair. Not even a little bit.
He was born like that.
Actually, that was
I mean, probably.
Actually, that was probably one of the first films I saw Jason Statham in.
Oh, for sure. That was definitely something that put him more on the
Yep.
map after he did what? He
The
was
Transporter.
probably in, Snatch, though, before that.
Snatch.
Transporter was after.
Snatch got him some more attention, but the Transporter arrived around the same time as Italian Job did.
Italian Job was what, 2001?
Three.
Three?
Transporter was 2002. Then Italian Job was 2003.
Yeah, see, told you.
Snatch was 2000.
Do you think that he was cast from his role in The Transporter, or was he cast before? He wouldn't
I
have.
would- no,
he
because
probably would have had
those
him
films
cast
have
before
probably
that.
been
Yeah.
made around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that was really good. I'm going to ask Bailey, what am I missing? I know we've seen so many other things. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Brad, we can go back to you for now. What's the last movie you saw, buddy?
So today I actually saw a movie in theaters. I went to go see Joyride.
Oh, did you like it? I'm
did.
looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's similarly. It is raunchy. It wasn't quite as like the jokes didn't come as fast and furious as I would appreciate, but it still was very
we
funny.
reviewed this trailer. I remember.
And
yeah.
it does have more of a personal story as far as like Asian identity and that kind of thing than I was
like there is an
anticipating.
emotional element to it.
Yeah, even more so. Like those movies always do have some kind of core that like makes you care about the characters, but this one had one that was even more significant for the main character that I was impressed by and I enjoyed. But yeah, it's very funny, very much in the vein of Bridesmaids and the Hangover and just like a trip gone wrong and absolute chaos. And
Those are my favorite.
they clearly had a lot of fun making it. The cast is great. It's very, very funny. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
Now, is this a remake of the Paul Walker film?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Candy Cane is still out there, and the
Candy cane.
Candy Cane. But yeah, Joyride. It's in theaters now. Just came out this weekend. So it's another one of those R-rated comedies where, man, just like if you want to see more R-rated comedies in theaters, like just go see them because they are worth it. Ben, did you figure out any more movies that you saw?
No.
Oh, that's nice. I got one more movie. Actually, two more movies. I saw Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah, what did you think about that? Because I've wanted to see that.
I didn't like being deceived by robots being in disguise.
Were they little too in disguise
so
for you?
much.
But no, it's so the first Transformers I think is probably the best one.
Yep.
Bumblebee comes pretty close.
It's hard to beat Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, he was great in the role, and it's a fun Michael Bay
Megan
romp.
Fox, she's
Yep.
foxy.
Wow. Bumblebee is my next favorite because it kind of got back down to basics. It feels like E.T. but with action. And then as far as sequels are concerned, Dark of the Moon is probably the best one, the third one.
That's the best sequel.
This one lands somewhere between Bumblebee and Dark of the Moon because it's pretty good. It's still a little too chaotic and all over the place, but it's solid. The characters are good. Anthony Ramos is great as the new lead.
Okay.
Pete Davidson is kind of the new robot sidekick that like they get entwined with each other. And so there's some cool action sequences and whatnot. I wasn't in love with it. I'm not gonna like be excited to see it again necessarily.
Okay. All right.
But it was fine for what it was.
It wasn't the worst Transformers film you've seen.
Definitely not.
That's
Definitely
also
not.
the first one where the robot could
Beast
actually
Wars.
talk, right, to the person it was getting entwined with, because it's always been Bumblebee getting entwined
but
the human.
but the other Transformers have been able to talk forever.
right, but they didn't
so-
have like simpatico relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
with anybody.
But this is like the first Beast Wars one, right? Where they
brought in the
yeah.
what are they called?
Was that a cool part of it? Like, because that's why.
There's some of them are cool. Some of them kind of just raise more questions than answers because I don't know why some of them have fur and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And like if you're gonna disguise yourself as an animal, maybe don't look like a robot. That's an animal.
No, those are like those
Yeah. So and this isn't really a spoiler. It technically is, but it's out there. So I'm going to talk about it because it feels like it's kind of a missed opportunity at this point. But it ends with a tease with a crossover to G.I. Joe.
Which everybody has been looking forward to.
Well, at one point people were.
I'll take a good G.I. Joe film. I would love.
I would love it, but I feel like it should have happened probably 10 years ago when both franchises were still you know going pretty strong. But it doesn't seem like anyone's all that excited about it anymore. So who knows? We'll see. But yeah. And the other movie that I have seen, which this is the movie that I am ahead of the curve on this week, even though we've been away for 3 weeks, is I have seen Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Bailey's so excited.
You guys and your Tom Cruise love. Do you know that he's a Scientologist?
What is Scientology, Nate?
Well, let me tell you. Have you read Dianetics?
Twice.
That's the one where you can't have sugar, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I saw Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning 2 weeks ago now, something like that.
Actually, every time I see the trailer, I'm like, this looks good.
Yeah, and it is very good. I will say I don't think it's quite as good as Fallout. Fallout to me is still the superior Mission Impossible
that's
sequel.
really hard
It
to
is.
beat,
It is.
man.
It's
That's
one
a
of the best
great-
action movies of the 21st century. And there's still lots of entertainment to be had. Tom Cruise is great. I just, for me, what the issue is the way Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise make these movies is they come up with the stunts first, and they're like, okay, how do we bring them together?
And they famously don't have a script.
Yeah, at least not a complete one. They have a good idea, but they change things on the fly.
Nate,
and
have you listened to Simon Pegg?
I did.
On Smartlist? He talked about that on Smartlist at length, and I was like, wait, that can't be right. And
no, he's like every day we get to the studio and we don't know what we're going to say. He literally said,
it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I'm sure. And this one, unlike Fallout, it doesn't feel like they hid the seams quite as well. The story doesn't necessarily connect the action pieces as smoothly as Fallout does. There's still some cool stuff, but like also the action isn't quite as good as Fallout. I don't think. Like
it felt like in the trailer they were trying to go with a more kind of a plot-based, emotional, like he wants to protect his friends, or
and there is that, and it works on some level, but the story also feels a little too complex without any necessarily good reason for it.
Is it because there will be a second part that they're gonna?
No, honestly, the movie itself, despite being a part one, it's pretty good at being self-contained. It has a clear beginning, a middle, and end, and even though there is a setup for what's to come, it's not anywhere near as big of a cliffhanger as Across the Spider-Verse was. So there's an ending, and like like what has to come in the second one, but there's no definitive like thing like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen now. But it's for me, I think the biggest problem just comes from like the story doesn't feel like it's quite as well oiled as the previous ones. But it's still very entertaining to watch. I had a good time watching, and for a movie that is also around 2.5 hours long, it is a breeze. It never feels boring, never lets up. It's a lot of fun. Haley Atwell in particular, she's a new character. And she's fantastic in it. Yeah, I liked her a lot. So it's good stuff. So you should definitely see it on the biggest screen possible, and it'll be playing on IMAX for a very limited time because Oppenheimer is going to be coming soon to take your IMAX.
So excited about Oppenheimer.
So yeah, I do have two more that I saw. Idris Elba has a movie from 2014 called The Take.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that.
Okay.
Pretty easy breezy CIA pickpocket. Gets
still fun though.
Yeah, honestly, it was decent. And
is he British in it?
I think he's American, actually.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, and because he plays a CIA agent. And then Extraction 2.
What did you think of that?
I liked it.
Okay,
I liked it up. I think I threw it out on Twitter. This feels less like. So this is about his actual family. It was about his
Rake family.
It is about his actual family, but yet it feels less important than the connection that he had with the kid in the first one.
Yeah.
But the action scenes are still brutal and incredible, and it's well worth your time if you like that kind of stuff.
Okay. I haven't watched that one yet, so I still need to do that.
And they're getting to the point now where they like the John Wick had a 15-minute single take. Extraction 2 has a 21-minute single take with hundreds of extras in a prison, and it's all done in one. I mean, it's fascinating how they do that. It's maybe going to start to get to the point where it's a bit gimmicky because it's like, do you really need?
I even heard some people complaining that this one just felt like it's too much.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But that being said, I still enjoyed it the whole time. I didn't ever want to pause it and be like, this is it's dumb. It was still great.
Yeah.
But it does feel like could the movie be served by shooting this a different way? Just because it's one take doesn't make it great.
Yeah.
And so they're on the borderline with this one, but it was still well worth my time.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm a huge sucker for a one take. What's your favorite one take from a movie?
Gosh. That's a good question. I mean, if we're talking simple one takes, the opening of Boogie Nights is one of my favorites. That's just a great, just long shot, the way it moves through the club and everything. If we're talking complicated one shots,
Athena.
Yeah, I mean, Athena's definitely up there.
Children of Men has a really good one shot.
Children of Men has several good one shots, but
so I would put that.
One of my favorite movies of all time, Alfred Hitchcock's Rope. It's shot
Entire-
as it's shot like it's supposed to be.
Though, yeah.
They zoom into a guy's back and come back out of it, and like into a credenza and come back out because they just didn't have the technology to roll it. But those are basically like 4 long takes in the entire movie, and it's incredible. What?
I agree. I'm not.
Are you? Like Nate looks at me like, no, fine.
I didn't know if you were going to say anything else.
Fine film buff, whatever.
You very
trying to one up us.
Fired at me. It's like we have no chemistry because we haven't done this podcast in 3 weeks.
What do you want? What?
Wow, jeez. Dad's angry.
Hey, Brad. Do we have any trailers? Save me.
Guys, real quick, I want to point out that we finished Ted Lasso and we finished Shrinking. I'm just kidding. I want to keep going. Trailers. What do you got?
Nate, you still watching Platonic?
I've only done.
I did this to myself. I can't be mad.
2 or 3 episodes. I have not finished it. No.
Have you guys watched season 2 of The Bear yet?
I love
I'm through the
it.
6th episode.
Watch the
You guys
Bear.
all answered at the same time, so I have no
Watch
idea what anybody said.
Watch The Bear. It is so good.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
it's great.
We are in the shadow of Chicago here. I love Chicago so much as a city.
Chicago.
Don't believe anything negative any of those people talk about Chicago. Chicago's great.
Yeah.
People do get shot, though.
They get shot everywhere.
They shot everywhere, Brad.
Yeah, all over their bodies.
No, like you know,
I love it. It is like I tweeted. It is for me almost a love letter to Chicago and Chicago's people. It
and
is
the
so
food
good.
and the
It's so
you know,
good. Love it so much.
that family
profanity.
Yeah, honestly, no, the Bear. I'm through. I think episode 6 of the second season. It's incredible.
I still have to watch episode 6. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
Episode 6.
It is also right. These aren't special effects. This is just a story driven.
It's just uncut
Hard,
gems, but a
yep.
beef restaurant.
A birth restaurant.
But I love any show or film. I will say this, that creates complex characters that are a little bit good, a little bit bad, very complicated,
but also very lived in
but also
and like
heart
established.
filled and just wonderful. I love it.
Yeah.
They're fully fleshed out. They're believable. They're
Yep.
real. And then fine, if we're doing this, I have been watching. I have been rewatching Arrested Development. I'm
Woo!
through the 13th episode of the
We
second
did
season.
it!
It's very good still.
We got them to watch more TV.
Speaking of Chicago shows, Nate, have you seen Shameless?
It's so funny you said that. I watched like the first season of Shameless and I couldn't do it anymore because
It's
it was
hard.
like it was too
There's
hard.
nobody
for
to
me.
root
Like,
for.
Yep. And I grew up in a trailer. I grew up in like like it was like I know these people and like
I don't wanna
they're
be
very like I knew the dad that was like that and like
No, thank
it was
you.
just too much. Like it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Like
And I grew up with a pool, so I had no frame of reference. So it
no,
just
he
really
had
didn't-
like all of the fun toys.
Yeah.
I
can't.
I just
do
don't
it. So
get
did
it.
I. So did
What's
I.
what's
I had-
what's
I had-
shameless about?
I had poverty and food insecurity.
Yeah, Ben, I
That's what
also had new Jordans every year. I'm with you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
So, but I do know that Shameless is a good
It's
show. It was
really
just too
good.
heavy
It's
for me.
also a love letter to Chicago.
Yep.
And yeah.
Did you ever watch the Chicago Code?
Is that just like Chicago Fire?
Yeah.
No, it's it's way better than any of those fucking shows. So Sean Ryan, the creator of The Shield,
The Shield.
and all that,
I love The Shield.
He made a show called Chicago Code that was on Fox, and
Oh.
it sadly only lasted a season. But man,
Oh, I would watch that.
Has that problem.
I fucking loved that show. It was so good. It was so good that I bought the first season.
Was it?
on
What was it about? honestly.
It-
Oh
it-
God,
it-
I can't believe I'm doing this. No.
It's about like a Chicago police precinct and like the corruption among like city officials and everything like
Shield
that.
2.
Jason Clarke is in it.
Oh,
It
nice.
is so good.
Was this the
This
in
show. Okay.
was this in the same time frame as Firefly when they were canceling all the wrong shows?
No, I think Firefly came a few years before Chicago Code did. Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago
They still didn't learn
Code
their lesson.
was 2011. But Chicago Code had in it Adam Arkin, who is the son of Alan Arkin, who passed away not too long ago, who was in one of my favorite films, Little Miss Sunshine.
It's a great movie and a great performance by Alan
And Alan
Arkin.
Arkin is just so good.
And also Glengarry Glen Ross. If you haven't seen that and
Yep.
you want a good Alan
Oh,
Arkin
come on.
performance,
If you haven't seen Glengarry and Glen Ross, get out of here. Come on.
Tell 'em.
All-time classic.
tell them. So yeah, that's it for all the movies and TV shows that we've been watching
Yeah,
lately.
it's been incredible that we've caught up on a lot of shit. And but we're back now, so we do have to do assignments for next time for sure.
Yes.
Just get back into it.
But before we even talk about
No,
that,
yeah, I'm just saying for next time we have to.
yeah,
No, we're not doing it.
Yeah, we always talk about our assignments on the podcast, so I'm glad you brought that up. Ben, do you have a trailer song?
Fucking hate you. No,
No, Ben,
I don't
listen,
do the trailer
Ben,
songs.
Ben, do the trailer song.
I don't do the trailer song.
Yeah,
Ben, do the trailer
I
song.
don't like that there's a trailer song.
but no one fucking asked you, Charlie. You go start your own podcast.
Charlie, you know what you want? You want Ben to do the trailer song. Go ahead.
I will remember trailers. Will they remember me? Sometimes I sit and watch 2, and sometimes I watch 3.
All right.
Okay, yeah,
pretty good.
it's better than
Pretty
anything
good.
else we've gotten in the
I
past
don't
few
know why you
months.
chose such a sad song, but yeah, that's
Because you make me sad when you ask me to do shit like that. So
Oh, boy.
you know what? All three
way to
go.
go.
Go
You know what?
fuck yourself.
You know what
How
our
about
listeners
that?
love? They love you and they love the trailer songs you produce. So good
That's
job.
That's not even a thing. You haven't been on the show for like a month and a half. We don't do. This is not a thing that we do.
Every one of them says they love that.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And it's pretty fun. And if anything, maybe they love the trailer songs more than they love you.
You know what? Agree. As they should.
All right, so we're catching up on some trailers. A couple of these have been out for a while. One of them came out more recently. But the first one we'll talk about a movie called Dumb Money, which is based on that whole GameStop STONKS online kind of thing.
Diamond hands.
Yes.
Yep.
To the moon.
Yeah, where a bunch of people in this big like grassroots operation completely fucked with the stock market and really just wreaked havoc, made people rich in the process, ruined some lives in the process. And I'm very excited to see this because it feels like it has a real Wolf of Wall Street Social Network kind of vibe to it.
Yes.
Has a phenomenal cast: Paul Dano, Seth Rogen.
I mean, seriously, the cast is amazing. Yeah.
Did anybody hear? I bought one share.
I was wondering. I have that in my notes.
I bought
Ask
one.
Ben, did he buy any
I bought
GameStop
one.
stock?
So here.
I think you told us at the time you did.
We can cut all this, but it's superfluous. But I bought one share when it was $307, and then it fell to like $200, and I was like, oh god damn it. And then I waited, and I was like, you know what, diamond hands, man. And I just stayed with it. And then one day I woke up, and it was like $344, and I sold immediately. I was
how much did you make? What's the math?
yeah, what was that? $42.
Would you say for our listeners though, you are part of the problem?
Yes. Oh, 100%.
So what do you guys think though? This isn't old. This is from 2021. It's
No,
2023.
it just happened.
Is it too early to make a film about something that just happened?
No, I'm glad they're doing
like a day
right
ago.
now.
No, I mean, I think it's one of those things where like it's such a fascinating moment in like recent history that people don't necessarily know the ins and outs and like the certain specifics of people who are involved in it. That it's the kind of story that people will be fascinated to see because it's not as if anything is going to age poorly by making this movie now instead of making it in 10 years or something like that. Like if you made a movie about Facebook a couple years after Facebook got big, you'd be missing a whole big chunk of context for like who Mark Zuckerberg is and like that
Exactly.
desperation he had, for making something so big. But with this, like there's a very instant satisfaction to it from
And
the story
also,
because it only lasted for such a short amount of time.
If you do
We're
wait,
talking days,
Yeah.
right?
and if you do wait 5 years from now, people are like, what? Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
it's still enough in the zeitgeist that this is the time to make that movie.
Yeah.
You mentioned Social Network. Do you know who is one of the two of the executive producers of this film?
Seth Rogen.
Cameron and Tyler
Winklevoss.
the Winklevi.
Yeah.
The Winklevi.
The Winklevi are two of the executive
Hey,
producers on this
speaking
film.
of them, how's Army Hammer doing?
He's probably pretty hungry.
So, yes, see this in a theater, Charlie.
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually out of the 3 trailers we watched. This is the one I'm most excited for.
See it in a theater, yes?
Oh yeah, I'll absolutely see this in
Ben?
the theater.
No, I will not see this again. I'm being serious. This is
No,
one
you're
of those,
excited to see it.
I am
It is not a
definitely-
theater film for you.
This is one that as soon as it comes out for rent, and probably for like $12.99, I'll rent it at that time. I'll be too excited.
Boo! These are the kind of movies you support in theaters, dipshit.
All right.
No.
To go back to the timing thing, the only problem I have with this movie being released now is that it's probably going to save Reddit. And Reddit needs to die.
I like Reddit. What do you think? I like
Oh,
Reddit.
That's a whole conversation that this
we don't have
podcast
to
isn't for.
yeah, we're not doing it right now, but Reddit needs to go down, and I'm afraid that this
Twitter
movie
needs to go down.
Same. And
Well, no, well,
Take
hold
it
on.
all down. Take
Elon-
the internet. The World Wide Web needs to go down.
Elon Musk needs to go down. Twitter can stay as long as somebody else is in charge of it. Fucking Elon Musk, his stupid face. So yeah, that was it for Dumb Money. We also watched the trailer for Kraven the Hunter, which looks like shit. This is a new Marvel movie, but not really a Marvel movie because it's from Sony Pictures. It's one of those fake Marvel movies that like to
Exactly.
trick you into thinking that it's a Marvel movie.
But it
I
really,
will
Marvel doesn't really have any say over this. This is a Sony film.
First in
With a Marvel
line,
character.
I will
Yeah.
be there to see this film.
Are you
This
kidding
looks
me?
No.
it looks horrible.
For those who don't know, Sony Pictures owns the rights to a myriad of Spider-Man characters because they still own the rights to Spider-Man. They have shared them with Marvel so that Tom Holland can be Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that means Sony is still making movies like Morbius and Kraven the Hunter and
Venom.
and other movies
All
that are coming up like
great
Madam Web
films.
and Silk and Spider-Woman and all these things. And this just looks like a movie that got stuck in 2005 and never was released.
the entire time I watched it, I felt like I was watching the trailer for Black Adam. Like, it just wasn't
Yeah,
necessary.
it's just-
and it was
I just-
over the
it's
top
like-
and had every trope.
And I
Make
like Aaron Taylor
Morbius
Johnson.
Part 2.
That's
right?
the problem. Aaron Taylor Johnson is miscasting this, and only because it's not that he's not good at creative. I want him for more. I want him to
Yeah.
do something better.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, like
he's,
Quicksilver.
I like him so much.
It's
No,
so,
but honestly, like,
Yeah.
he was great in that. But this is sad that this is his because again, it's like you get a good actor in a role, you want him to have a meaty role that's something that's good. He's wasted in this.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
He
Isn't
looks
this
great.
weird though?
Oh, he does look great. Yeah.
Am I crazy or is it Kraven the Hunter? Wasn't he a villain for
He is,
Spider-Man?
he is.
yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
So
is
Just like the
Venom.
Venom, they're doing Venom.
in Venom
They're
and
doing-
Mar-
This is Venom
but
3.
they're
He's
the
in-
heroes of those films, though. That's what I
So
find
they're-
very weird.
It's like Deadpool.
In comics,
They kind of
characters
walk
like
that line.
Kraven and Venom can be anti-heroes.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Are they ever anti-heroes? Because
Yeah.
I looked it up and I didn't find any like comic books where they were the anti-hero.
like
They were
like
almost
like Red
always-
Skull. Like,
But based on the
I don't know
trailer-
if you heard that, but Bailey's laughing at that. So
But
that's
based on the trailer, I will not probably see this film. It doesn't. Seem
I'll
great.
still see it just because I love putting myself through torture.
I still haven't seen.
Did you see
Morbius?
Morbius?
Yeah, you've seen it.
I didn't watch Morbius.
Oh!
Until until it was out at home, and like even like it was like
Listen,
months after.
I didn't watch Morbius until the second day it was out.
So
I waited
so,
until Friday.
Charlie, theater film or no?
No, I'm not even going to see this at home.
Theater film.
I will probably see it in theaters just because like
You will get a ticket for free.
I kind of need to know about it, you know.
Charlie, if
Is this
somebody,
a theater film for you, Ben?
if I got a free pass
No,
for this,
Bailey
would you
says
go
no.
with me?
I don't know, like, to hang.
I would
if
go with you
if you
'cause I
got me
like
a free pass
popcorn.
and you weren't going, and it wasn't like
Yes.
a hangout
Yep.
time.
Yep.
You just hey, go to the movie by yourself. I wouldn't waste my 2 hours. Like I have.
You have too much pride.
I just have other shit to do.
Ben, if I invited you to a press screening for this movie, would you go?
I would.
That is not. That's even worse.
What's Cam up to?
Cousin Cam. Cousin Cam will go.
Friend of the pod, cousin Cam. What's he up to? No. So yeah, I think big pass on this, but I will definitely see it.
I thought you were excited about it.
No, I'll still see it, not in theaters.
I
though.
feel
I
like-
will see
okay.
I like seeing Russell Crowe in this movie though. That's kind of fun.
Another superhero dad.
No, the cast isn't bad. It just
Yeah.
doesn't look like a good film.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at
It
all.
could surprise us. You never know.
I like
It'll-
Ariana.
The violence looks great.
Ariana DeBose.
There will
It
probably
is.
be.
It is an R-rated Marvel
The-
movie.
Ooh.
it's very Logan Gore, and I'm for that.
Gorgon.
Logor.
Gorgon.
It'll be Sony's first R-rated Marvel movie, as well as the first R-rated Marvel movie produced by any studio since Deadpool 2.
Bed tool.
Deadpool
2.
Dead tool.
Yes.
There has been rumblings a little bit more about. There's been a little bit more of an expanded trailer for Deadpool 3. We haven't really talked about that.
There's,
minute,
there's no
happened.
trailer for
There's
Deadpool
no,
3.
there's not even a little
They are
one
still
yet.
shooting that movie.
I thought no.
No,
the thing with
like,
Hugh Jackman on the couch and all that stuff.
That's not
Oh,
a trailer.
that's
That's
true.
just that's them announcing that they were making the movie.
Oh, did we watch a fake one then, Bailey?
Yeah, you probably watched the fake one.
yeah, you probably did.
She brought it up, and I was
Yeah.
like, well,
They did recently announce though that Jennifer Garner is going to be reprising her role as Elektra
For
in
sure?
Deadpool 3. Yeah,
Okay.
so
oh, good news.
that's interesting. It's going to be a big multiverse thing. I'm anticipating they will probably bring back some of the original X-Men
Because he has the ability to get everyone there. Yep.
and plus none of the, even though they don't deserve it, some of the Fox Marvel movies never really got like an opportunity to like be part of something this cool. So they'll probably figure out a way to
Yep.
do it in a fun
Yep.
Deadpool
Yep.
kind of way.
Do you think the writer's strike is
If
gonna hurt
anybody
this?
can do it fun, it's going to be Deadpool.
Oh, for sure.
I'm so excited
So
about it.
interestingly enough, they've been shooting throughout the writer strike, and they've been shooting over in England. So
He's
like,
not allowed to improv on it, correct?
that's correct. He's not allowed to improv because that's technically writing. But the easiest thing about Deadpool is that he's wearing a mask, and you can do all that improving in post production.
Or you can just say you already did it.
no, you can't because that's called
That's-
being a scab, and
that's not
that
improv.
goes against a lot of things.
So,
but-
yeah,
but it's really
you're
easy to do, and no one would know.
A lot of people would know, and they would get out, and that would be devastating for Ryan
There's
Reynolds.
200 people on set.
No, no one would know.
Those
that'd be-
Teamsters are pretty loyal to each other.
No, I think they'd be
Are
fine.
they almost done with that or no?
So I think they're still shooting in the UK. They're supposed to do some shooting in
No,
Vegas.
he meant the writer's strike.
The writer's strike.
Oh,
No.
I'm guessing it'll probably end in August or September. I have a feeling that they want the actor strike to happen for a little bit, and the studios will use it as a way to end certain deals they have with people. And then once they've evacuated those deals and they save some money by getting rid of them, they'll come back to the negotiating table.
I
and-
think it's going to go through the holidays.
no, it's definitely not going to go
No.
that way.
Yep.
There's no fucking
I
way.
said it here. I said it here.
The
I said it
studio-
right now.
If it goes through the holidays,
I would like to. Be,
quote-
I want credit. It's going through the holidays.
There's no fucking way it goes through the holidays.
That is a lot of
they
money
Will,
they're
yeah,
gonna
they
lose.
would lose insane amounts of money, and that would affect so many things for like the next year.
So the studio better buckle.
They, I mean,
It's
they will.
gonna screw Brad over if they wait until the end of the
Well, no,
holidays.
we'll still have stuff to write about. I mean, it'll just be annoying.
It'll just be all writing about how this writer strike sucks. Here's the 19th article about why things should end.
The latest Airbud movie got canceled.
They're gonna do a review of
I-
it.
Well, that's just because Airbud was humping the wrong leg.
I don't know like who to follow or who, but I had
that's
read
Jonathan
that they
Majors'
had been
movie.
making some progress on some of
Jesus.
these conversations, but who knows?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. It's but yeah, it seems like the actors are going to go on strike here shortly.
Hey,
and,
I know we don't have a game, but do we have a conversation?
we still have one more trailer to talk about.
Oh,
Actually,
sorry,
if you
sorry.
shut your fucking mouth.
Jesus fucking Christ.
This is what happens when you don't do the podcast for a while. I get grumpy.
Okay.
A lot of retribution there, buddy.
Ah, that's the trailer. He did it.
Hey, roll credits.
Retribution is a new action thriller starring Liam Neeson, who has never done a movie like this before.
It looks very, very new.
It is a movie that is basically like Speed.
Speed
meets,
3, Taken Control.
Yeah, that's a great title for this movie.
Wait. He's in a car, so can we call it taking cruise control?
I would say also you're
Speed
going to
2
be
is
like,
already cruise control.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
That's why
Sorry.
it's
yeah.
taken control.
Yeah.
That's his is the best
Well,
one.
I'm taking cruise
well, you
control.
need to add some kind of scream element to it because it is the phone kind of
Yeah.
processor there.
Yeah.
So.
So the premise of this is Liam Neeson is in a car with his son and his daughter, and
Trapped
he gets
in a phone booth.
a strange phone call that tells him that he's going to blow up their car if he doesn't do what he says. And there are these pressure-sensitive
He
bombs under the
hangs up on him?
seats. Hangs up on him, and the car gets blown up, and then
So he knows
shit.
it's real.
Yeah, shit's about to get real. His day's fucked.
Yeah. It really blew up in his face.
Ooh, and so
It's a remake of a Spanish film, by the way.
Retribution.
I think that's.
I was
I think
literally-
that is actually what it is.
I was literally going to say explosion.
You're the only one here that can make that joke.
I did it so no one else had to.
Well, cut my part then. I definitely did it.
But yeah, so Retribution. Nate, when does it come out?
Me llamo Bomba.
And will you be
Sorry, you have
first
a
in line to
Mexican
see it?
It comes out August 25th. So I have a problem with this film.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
This is the one
Yep,
you have a problem
I have a problem with this film.
Okay.
And I actually kind of want to see this film. These kids are like, let's say 16 and 14
Yeah.
or 16 and 13. And Charlie and I have kids this age, and we're in our, you're what?
37.
I'm 37. I'm,
Liam Neeson is 79.
I'm 42. And he's 70 years old.
And he's not the
that's
grandfather.
That's what
And-
bothers
yeah,
me.
and
he's not
any-
the
like-
granddad.
But he
Anybody-
looks good.
And to be fair, anybody with 16 and 14-year-olds would just get out of the car.
You know what?
And I'm like-
I'll kill your kids. Oh, thank
Oh,
God.
Like, I don't understand why you don't like give this role to Channing Tatum or something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody that like is an action star that still can kind of maybe play a
You
dad.
know what? What about this? What about if it was Liam Neeson at his current age, but he had like middle-aged kids? Like kids who were like in their 40s and 30s that were in the back seat.
I mean, like he's that
And-
old,
but they were
right?
still, yeah, he's
they're
70,
still going to
and they're
school.
they're going to
He
graduate
could
school.
legitimately be
and
their
it's like, oh, you've been in
grandparent.
school, you've tried everything. Get your life together. He's like, Dad, you just don't know what I'm going through.
You want it to be stepbrothers?
Yeah, but
They're in tuxedos.
but then there's no urgency because he would kill them.
So that
back to
bothered
that
me about
then.
the trailer. I'm like, this isn't believable for me because he's so much older.
He
like
really
it does
is,
not.
yeah.
It does not work.
Taken was a stretch.
Yep.
At least she was playing like a 17-year-old.
How-
By the way, we watched that. I introduced Bailey to Taken. I forgot about that one.
How
too.
old is Liam Neeson now? Do you guys know?
I'm gonna guess he's 68.
I'm gonna say he's 72.
He is 71.
Okay.
And so, like,
Charlie didn't get to guess.
you
but that's
should
okay.
not have.
Fun game.
Nate just steamrolling over. Like, I can't wait to say 71.
He should not have.
13-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. Al Pacino just got his girlfriend pregnant. How old's Al Pacino?
Well, 107.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
The film itself looks fine. I would see it.
no,
but-
I do think it looks kind of fun. It's
It's a little refreshing compared to all the other
Yeah, exactly.
kind of tripe that he's been in lately.
yeah. I think if Liam Neeson hadn't made a bunch of other shitty action thrillers, I might be more excited about
One
this,
that I'm
but-
actually not mad at. Cold Pursuit is actually pretty fun.
Yeah, you've defended that before. So is this a film, Charlie, you would see in the theater?
No.
Brad,
I might see it in the theater.
Ben.
Oh, I might actually see this.
I-
in theater.
I feel like
It's
this
a
would be
it
a
would be a
Ben
fun one.
Konowitz
It would be
film.
like a fun one.
Yeah.
I'll see this before I see Kraven the Hunter.
well, it comes
I'll
out.
agree with that.
It comes out before Kraven the Hunter, so
It
that makes
does,
sense.
yeah.
No,
I
mean,
didn't announce
If
those
Kraven the Hunter came out and then this came out next year, still true.
Real quick for our listeners, Dumb Money, which again is the film that we all think you should see, September 22nd, Kraven the Hunter, October 6th, and Retribution is August 25th.
All
Remember,
right.
Brad's wedding, October 31st.
Yeah. Wedding.
Wedd-o-ween.
Wedd-o-ween.
All right, so let's do this conversation real quick. We're a little bit long, but not too bad. So I saw this on Twitter.
Story of my life.
The biggest bombs for DC films, and I thought we'd go through this list a little bit and see. I would love to hear what you three think are the reasons why this film really bombed,
Okay.
and if they could have saved some of these things, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So let's start at number 10. Green Lantern lost $75 million. Anybody have a feeling or a reason why you think this film did not do well?
They spent way too much money on it, and it was also a character at the time people were not super familiar with, and it just
They spent money in the wrong spots.
Yes, they for whatever reason they decided that the suit should be entirely visual effects, which was maybe the poorest decision in the history of superhero.
Did you guys like this film?
Not really.
There were a few. I would say there were a few saving graces,
parts.
and it had to do with Ryan Reynolds because he's smarmy. He's Hal Jordan-esque.
Yeah.
I mean, for people who've read the comics and told me because I have not read the
He
comics.
does fit the character.
He fits the character decent well. There were some decent. The levity parts of it were good. There's still a line I remember from this film. It's at the beginning when he wakes up. There's a girl in his bed, and he's leaving. And in the very classic Ryan Reynolds, he goes, "There's water in the tap." And it's just such a dick thing to say, and I laughed. I remember that, and there were a few things like that, right? Other than that, though, good Lord, no.
Well, and with what time was it? When was this made?
2011.
Yeah,
Maybe,
2011, I
yeah.
think.
Never mind.
Well, yeah, it was pre 9/11.
Yeah.
So
No, I was gonna say, was anybody doing a good super movie when this came
Yeah.
out?
No, there were good ones.
They
Yeah,
were,
there have been
so.
some good ones.
So they probably rushed this a bit because of the success of something like Iron Man and Captain America and Thor.
All right, let's go into number 9. The New Mutants. Did you guys see The New Mutants?
I still haven't seen this movie.
I actually kind of enjoyed this film, but it lost $84 million. It's kind of like
My-
a horror.
My
Marvel-
assumption
or
is this
horror
is because it was
DC
mired in
film.
development hell, and it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed
Did
back.
you
and
see
then
it,
finally got
Ben?
released. I did not.
It did
I
get
did not
pushed
see
back
it.
a lot. It got delayed by the pandemic too, didn't
Yep, it did. Yeah.
But
And
it got-
then
I mean, there were like 3 separate release dates.
Yeah.
for that,
And
so
weren't
that's probably,
weren't people confused that this was going to be a continuation of the kids from Logan, right?
Yeah.
And it turned out it wasn't, and people
Yeah, I don't
bailed
think
and-
And then
they
it was-
told that story really
Yeah.
well.
and also
PG-13?
and also
or R.
It's PG-13, but they had talked about it maybe being R, but I think it ended up being PG-13. And then it also came in the wake of X-Men Dark Phoenix, which was just a fucking dud.
We're
I
gonna
actually
get
still
into
have not
that.
seen that. I've still not
All
seen
right,
that.
number 7. Fantastic Four lost $100 million.
Which one?
The most recent one with Miles Teller.
Yep. Why do you think this film didn't do well? What would you have done differently? And did you like this film?
That was another movie that was very much marred by development problems. And it just didn't look good. It looked boring, and it didn't feel like it matched up with what
didn't-
Marvel was doing at the time.
Did you see it, Charlie?
I did not see it.
I didn't either.
In my opinion, they did nothing new.
Yeah.
They took the exact same story and
They just made it more-
Hey, you know what? Here's 4 new actors telling the same story. So
And
you
also,
can't
it's
do that.
murkier.
Yeah, it was just not as good.
And I want to say too, the numbers I'm reading, how much they lost. This is what I read on Twitter. If they're not accurate, I do apologize. Number 7 or number 6, Black Adam lost $100 million. I thought Black Adam was fine. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was fine. It wasn't the worst DC film. I think you really did not like it, right?
No, I did not like it.
Yeah.
No,
Did you?
The Rock was the problem.
Yeah. Do you think
I really think,
another actor would have done better?
I think that he was so heavily involved in the direction of this film, and he wanted so many things to be like, I'm not just going to be Shazam's villain.
Yeah.
I'm going to be Black Adam, and
Yeah.
I need to be the franchise.
he was kind of obsessed with this.
It's true, and then the defense that he had on Twitter afterwards
It
about
meant-
like,
did not
"This-
come across
I don't know,
well."
this was comparable to Captain. He was just so invested.
He's
in it.
not wrong that Black Adam did poorly, but so has all of the other DC films.
It was
Yeah,
just
but-
crazy his overreach.
felt
here.
a little bit, yeah.
And I would say that's probably maybe not the reason, but it's got to contribute, right?
He's
I mean-
the reason why I actively have sought to not see the movie.
You're not a Rock fan.
No, I love
No,
the
I
Rock.
love The Rock. That's
Love
the
the Rock.
problem.
That's the problem I'm having with it. Is
he just feels like he really
it
went crazy.
almost turned him into somebody he's not trying to.
What do you think, Brad?
Promote this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. It was one of those things too where the movie just didn't seem like it did anything cool. No one cared. They didn't give you anything to make
Yeah,
you care about
yeah.
it or be excited about it. You know.
Do you think that could be because The Rock was like, I don't want to just be foil to a superhero. I want to have this be basically his Venom, right? He wants to be the man the whole time.
That could have been part of it.
That does stage the direction of the film.
To me, I think Black Adam is probably like one of the movies that like starts to show like the actual superhero fatigue that we're really seeing now.
Because let's be honest, there's a huge difference between somebody like Ryan Reynolds lobbying for a character he loves and is just leaking shit online to get it made type thing, and like The Rock this is a passion project for him.
No,
but
he was trying to make it for 10 years.
and I get that, but he was so over the top with it and he really forced it maybe in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think that he was very controlling about that aspect to the point where, like, he tried to make this movie something that shifted the direction of the DC universe. There are actually a lot of stories behind the scenes about how he was pushing for the Superman thing and like really trying to make it like Black Adam.
That's true.
Yeah, all this stuff, and so
he wanted to be
Like
the
he
main.
was trying to evolve the character.
Yeah,
even.
the main antagonist for Superman rather than Shazam, and that's a pretty big freaking swing even for Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
And even that was kind of a thing where like that was him and also to a point Henry Cavill making a push to like because they knew the DC thing was coming, and it's like, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right. This one is probably my favorite film on this list. Number 5, the Suicide Squad. This is James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
I actually
It lost money?
I love this film. Yes, it did, but it's 2021.
It was
July.
It was
2021.
one of the earliest movies to be released both on Max and in theaters.
Yeah, it was July 2021. So it was.
How many Max
into
subscribers did they get out of it though? Damn it!
I'm willing to blame the pandemic just on this because this was a great film. Actually, I
really like
really
this one a
enjoyed
lot.
this.
I think the pandemic partially. I also think it's R-rated, so that like reduces your audience drastically. It's not for kids.
If you've not seen
I
this
also think
film,
people
you
were
should.
confused
It is
because
so
the first
good.
one was so bad they all thought it was a sequel.
Yeah,
But that film did like $730 million. It
then
really did well.
It
On
did well,
accident.
but then it was everybody panned it, afterwards, and then
This is the better of the two
Of
films.
course, by
by
far,
far.
100%.
By far. So
at the time the first one came out, though, I came out of the theater and I was like, it wasn't bad. I kind of liked
I
it.
felt the same way about the first one.
And then everybody else hated it. It's like I hate it too.
all right,
'Cause that's me.
number 4, Dark Phoenix. Brad, you mentioned
never
that.
seen
You're a big fan, right?
Yeah, I mean he goes number 1 of all time.
Well,
Apocalypse.
what for you is the problem with Dark Phoenix?
It wasn't directed by Bryan Singer.
Wow. It doesn't do anything new or interesting with the Dark Phoenix storyline that the
been
X-Men
done
The
previously?
Last Stand didn't do.
It just didn't feel like anything.
Yeah,
like
and
you
it-
weren't evolving the story, you weren't growing the story.
Yeah, and it just felt messy and like the visual effects didn't look good. It was just everything about it was awful. It was just I hated it. I was so bored by it. So bored by it. It wasn't
hated.
Yeah, both.
Did anybody here like that?
Did you see
No.
it? Nate?
No, I didn't see that.
I didn't see it. Charlie?
I started it and turned it off.
Me too.
Yeah.
Actually, they made more money off me off this than most movies. I rented it 3 times, and I'm not joking. I got 10 minutes in, and then I just forgot about it. Came back like 3 weeks later, rented. I was like, you know what? Tonight's the night. And I fast forwarded it to 10 minutes, and then at 11 minutes, I shut it off. And then one more time, like 6 months later, like fuck it, this is the time. And no. I couldn't get through it.
Here, next one, another pandemic film. Did not get great reviews, but I think did worse because of the pandemic. Wonder Woman 1984 lost 137 million. This is number 3. It came out in December. It came out on Christmas 2020.
Yeah,
so it was
that was the
earlier.
first HBO Max movie to get theatrical and HBO Max.
I saw it.
I didn't love this film,
I
but
saw it
I
in the theater.
did not hate the film, though. I didn't.
It doesn't deserve.
It wasn't
all
nearly
the
as good as
hate
the first.
that it got, but you're right. It just wasn't as good as the first.
Yeah,
one.
I didn't hate it either. I actually kind of like defended aspects
Pedro
of
Pascal is great.
He is great in it, and it has it
it's a
looks
gorgeous movie.
gorgeous. Yeah,
It's a
the
gorgeous
colors in
movie.
it are unbelievable. But yeah, it is missing a little something. It's not as good as the first one. But yeah, it's.
But I genuinely really loved the first one. I think the first
I did
one's
too.
First
very
one's
good.
so good.
Yeah.
I think the second was just really busy too.
yeah, it has a
Yeah,
lot going on.
It's true.
It kinda
was-
deviated
How
a
long
little
was
bit.
it? It was
Yeah.
pretty long.
It's
right?
about 2.5 hours long. I
Yeah.
think.
So yeah. All right. Fair enough.
It's 151 minutes. So all right.
2.5 hours
About
long.
2.5 hours long.
All right. Second, and these are more recent ones we're getting to. Lost $150 million so far, anyway. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I like this more than you guys did. I thought it was fun.
More
I thought
than
it was fun.
I didn't like this. So you can't say like I like this more
didn't
than
like
Yeah,
this.
it was a bad movie.
thought it was fine. I
Like,
thought it was fine.
Yeah, you know what? Steamy pile of dog shit you like more than me. Like
You hated this film.
I hated.
I
this
didn't
film.
hate it.
I hated it.
I
That's
still
what I'm
haven't
saying.
seen
is
it.
I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was like the worst film
It's
ever.
actively bad.
Oof.
Did you see it?
I am. You're talking about superhero fatigue.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
I have.
Are
had,
you? Yeah.
I've had fatigue since Endgame. Spider-Man was great. Spider-Man was a lot of fun, but there has not been a good.
I haven't had a full on fatigue since Endgame because
Wakanda Forever.
You can ask Brad. I called Brad after it, and I didn't. I was not a fan of Wakanda Forever. It just. I thought the
that-
first one was so much
I
better.
literally.
You're wrong.
I watched it with Brad before it came out, sobbing. So like,
I haven't had fatigue entirely since Endgame. I do think there has been too much since Endgame.
Yeah.
But I loved WandaVision. I loved Loki.
Shows I didn't. I was.
WandaVision is a TV show. Thank you so much for bringing that
I
up.
loved Ms. Marvel. I think Spider-Man was great. I love Wakanda Forever. I'm a Quantumania defender, even though I don't think it's among Marvel's best.
I agree.
But I do think that the Marvel's output since Endgame shows that they needed like a 2 or 3 year break that wasn't brought on by the pandemic to kind of collect themselves and figure out, okay, what are we going to do next, and really kind of focus.
What are they going to do,
because
though? You're losing so much money. These
well, that's the
films
thing
have
is,
made 100.
yeah, I think that Kevin Feige knows that there's a problem. I think that after the Marvels, you're going to see a shift, and movies are going to get smaller and feel smaller.
The Eternals 2.
I think that there's going to be.
I'd actually like to see them try the Eternals again because I think there is a film in there that can be good.
And it can
I
lose
think the
another
best way
$200
is
million.
I think the best way is to utilize those characters in a movie that isn't based around them. But I think that leading up to King Dynasty and Secret Wars, because they obviously have a problem with King.
No.
I think that.
Would you say that it's a major problem?
By the way, hate the Eternals all you want or Eternals all you want, but they are not on this list of films that lost money.
No, nobody's going to give me a major
Well, that's
problem.
also DC, bud.
Nobody?
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Okay.
like they have not lost money though, so
Yeah.
Just not.
they made money.
Nobody's giving me that.
Not great, but
Sorry.
kind of like Quantumania. I think they did what 500 million total. I think
Something
it was
like
on
that.
a budget of 2 to.
But yeah,
250.
I think that you'll start to see Marvel movies scale back and kind of get back to that Iron Man, Captain America, the First Avengers like level scale.
I
kind
will
of thing.
never be mad at that because I love those films.
Yeah, I think they need to get smaller, and they need to stop relying so much on big visual effects set pieces and just like get back to basics because they have a real problem going on right now.
And the number one film so far, this will probably slowly chip away at this, but The Flash lost 200 million.
Yeah, it's a big one.
But we've talked a little bit about that.
I mean, yeah, there's a myriad of problems there. Obviously, you guys seen it. Brad, you said it's a decent movie, though, so why do you, like, why did it lose?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I think it came out at a time when there's a lot back in theaters right now for blockbuster summer. There's superhero fatigue. You could maybe partially blame the issues with Ezra Miller, but I think it's more so the idea that Ezra Miller, even though he was the Flash in Justice League and Batman vs Superman, he's still not a big draw.
A tertiary, how do you say that? Tertiary?
Tertiary?
Yeah,
Tertiary?
you're fine. You're fine. I'll take that. Accepted.
Also, when we watched the trailer, I don't remember seeing Michael Keaton in the trailer.
Oh no, he's definitely.
he came in there
because
they
he's
really
I am
pushed.
That's what they were
Batman.
making.
Yeah. That they really had to push actually the fact that there were other characters in it
Gotcha,
besides the
gotcha.
Flash.
It wasn't the first one, but they did
It was
push
the
that
first one.
It was
eventually.
the first
The
one.
Was it
first
the
one
first
showed
one?
Michael
Okay.
Keaton. The second one showed Ben Affleck.
That's right.
Yeah.
Again, another guy I like. I
Yeah.
like Ben
I also,
Affleck
in addition to the general superhero fatigue, I do think that there is a more specific multiverse fatigue that is happening.
Not for you, though.
And I mean, in some ways, me, because there are some of the
You just said earlier that you're not fatigued.
No, he
No,
likes
no.
it when it's done well.
I said not everything after Endgame has given me superhero.
No, I'm talking
fatigue.
about like half an hour ago. You said
No.
The multiverse.
The multiverse, he said, when it's done well,
Yeah.
he said he likes it.
Oh,
Okay.
there's still some things that work, but like they are doing too many multiverse things where everything's
I think
interconnected.
the listener will agree with me that he said the exact opposite earlier. But we can just let
if
that
you think a
record play.
listener will agree with you about anything, you're fucking kidding yourself.
You guys, stop.
Have you guys watched Secret Invasion yet?
Guys, you and I both know there are no listeners listening at this point. Go ahead.
Oh, I also watched Avatar 2.
We're so past that.
Yeah,
But-
just putting that out there.
Wow, great.
Made me cry.
all right, on that list that I gave you guys.
That's only because you couldn't see the TV very well.
On that list that I gave you, we all agree the Suicide Squad was the best film on there.
yes.
Run them down real quick. Just blah, 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 blah.
All right. The Flash, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Wonder Woman 1984,
No.
Dark Phoenix, The Suicide Squad, Black Adam, Fantastic Four, The New Mutants, Green Lantern.
Oh yeah.
Wonder Woman 84.
Wonder Woman 84 is as
You
close.
think Wonder Woman
close
84
second.
is better than the Suicide Squad?
It's a second. It's second.
Oh, it's the second Suicide Squad?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
The first Suicide Squad was a huge hit.
And the first
And it
Suicide
was
Squad
terrible.
was Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
This is the
Suicide
Yeah,
Squad.
James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
James Gunn.
James Gunn presents the Suicide Squad.
Fuck it,
from-
I don't care.
In
Bye,
Dolby
everybody.
Vision.
Bye.
All right. Thanks so much for the conversation, guys. We figured
Charlie, thank
why
you for being
DC
here.
is-
For having me.
Thanks for
and
being
thanks
here.
for the Cuban chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got any more of those? Because I'm still hungry.
I don't know
they're
where they
around-
went.
They're around somewhere.
Yeah, I think we're going to throw them out.
Hey, listeners, we love you guys. We've missed you.
Yeah.
Give us a review.
Please comment.
Also,
Throw it on
give us an
Facebook.
audio voicemail because we really need another
honestly,
one. It's our favorite thing.
I'm kind of chomping at the bit here. I want to hear.
Go flixyourselfpod.com. Give us an audio voicemail.
No one calls Ben anymore.
Yeah, your best impersonation of me doing a game song.
It's my favorite thing.
You can be famous for a minute and be better than me.
Famous.
Always. Yeah.
That's not anything what that word means.
No.
Dude, we have like a dozen listeners.
At least. Actually, multiple dozens.
There are dozens of us.
There are literally dozens of us. All right, Brad, Nate, Charlie, thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for hosting.
Hey, bye everybody, bye.
Nah, cheating, eh?